Welcome to my new space. Door, lights, space, air conditioning. Hey folks, welcome back. It's been a while. I promise that I was trying to work on that Jedi tunic that everybody voted for, but something a lot more interesting came along and I want to share it with you. So check this out. Hold on. This is a little dirty. I don't know if that's quite it yet. Let's see if we can clean this up just a little bit more. I got a new workshop. If you have been around for any amount of time, you know that most of the time I film in my dining room, which became my workshop, and it was a dark dungeon that I could not contain anything within. So it spilled out into my house and I just absolutely needed a bigger space to do what I needed to do, or do what I wanted to do. During the pandemic, when I was stuck at home for a long time and I kind of started all of the creative maker things that I did, I worked solely out of my dining room and out of my living room, which means that all of my stuff lived in my dining room and in my living room. While it was nice to have everything right there with me, the mess became kind of overwhelming and I knew I was gonna need a bigger space. So I started saving for something. I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted, but I knew that eventually I was going to want a space dedicated to making stuff that maybe wasn't attached to my house, because it seems to just migrate into every corner of my living space if it's in my house. I looked at maybe buying a second small beat up house and fixing it up while I use it for my creator space, but real estate prices went absolutely bananas and kind of knocked that out of contention. I looked at maybe getting a commercial space, but those were either so big or they were condominium styles, and with all the hammering and things that I did or that I do, I didn't think it was fair to maybe the other tenants. I thought about buying land so that I could use that, and then eventually we could build a bigger house on the land. But again, real estate prices, not so great. At the beginning of this year in January, I decided I was going to look at sheds just to see what was out there and if it was worth the price. I went to a local company, told them what I wanted, and this is what we came up with. I'm really freaking excited. Now, it is not finished by any stretch of the imagination, but it's finally at a point now where I think it's worth kind of sharing, because some of the finishing projects I want to do, I want to share with you guys. Quite frankly, I don't want to wait anymore because I am impatient and I've had to wait long enough. So let me show you what my last month of work has produced. Here's my sitting area with the ridiculously stupid chair that I splurged on. I will link it in the Amazon links below if you want a stupid chair of your own. But it's dumb, but it's so comfortable. I mean, I can like fit, and my dogs can fit in here with me. So is it really stupid if it actually works? But this is where I am going to be doing editing, probably hand sewing. This is where I can record. I am gonna do something with the wall behind me, but that's a surprise for later. But let me show you where all the magic is actually going to happen. Ugh. My sewing table. You will probably recognize this because I've had it for a long time, but it's actually clean. My sewing machine will live here. I will probably put my leather sewing machine right here so that I can quickly just turn around and sew whatever I need to sew. I also picked up these shutters from our local Habitat for Humanity restore. I think what I'm gonna do is attach them to the back of this table so that I can hang thread and bobbins and things like that off of here, because I think my leather is gonna go up here. The big challenge will be keeping the worktop clean. We will see if I can accomplish that. I also want to clean out the drawers and kind of start fresh now that I'm in a fresh new space. So this is where most of the production is going to happen. And look at how much space I have for once. Next area, welcome to my drafting table or my pattern making table or just my workspace. I really wanted a place where I could cut out maybe larger things, but still have a separate, like, I'm hammering and sewing and that kind of stuff. So a friend of mine was selling this table for a great price, and it matches the workbench that I'm gonna put in here later that I've already had forever. And it's adjustable height. So I can actually have a standing desk, which is foreign to me. Wait, no it's not. I stand at that thing all the time. I'm an idiot. I got these lights from Harbor Freight and they stick right underneath this molding perfectly, and they illuminate this desk really well. And I've already started doing quite a bit of work over here. Again, I've got pegboard everywhere, so once I start bringing the odds and ends out, I'll start getting them up here. But ultimately the goal is that nothing lives on this table. It all lives here and in the drawers, so that I can have just a clean workspace all the time. That's not how my brain functions, but I'm gonna give it a shot and we'll see how that works. On to the next thing. This is going to be one of the storage areas in this workshop. I bought 2 of these steel case lateral files at an auction for about $47 a piece. They are going to have a lot of storage potential. My plan is I'm going to put my patterns in the first drawer here. It even came with a whole bunch of hanging files so I can actually organize. And then my bookcase with most of my fabrics. I have a second bookcase like this, but a little bit bigger, that I'm going to put on one of the other walls over there, just to get all of my fabrics out and visible so that maybe I can stop hoarding them. I'm not gonna stop hoarding them. Let's just be honest with ourselves. In the big list of things that need to be done, I have not finished any of the windows because I don't know how. So stay tuned for that. This is gonna be one of my storage areas, my patterns, maybe my pattern paper, just some of the big things that I don't want just out and about will be safely in here. Now, you may be thinking, Katie, aren't you worried about these getting sun damaged? And I was. So I have coated my windows in that mirror finish UV coating so that A, it reduces the glare inside, B, people can't look in and see what I'm doing, and C, to protect my fabrics from the sun. I did think about that. Let me show you the unfinished areas and you can judge my plans. My workbench is huge and it's heavy, and it has been raining for about 3 days, so I can't get it out here yet. But I've measured it out and I think this is where I want it to live. So just for reference, I have my planning drafting table over here, I have my fabrics over here, I will have my leathers up here, my sewing machine's back here. So I think I want it to live right here as a nice little floating island. I can still walk all the way around it, which I can't do right now, but this is where I'm thinking that's going to live. I hope that it will fit here because I don't want to have to move everything else around, but it's kind of an integral part of my whole process. So hopefully this works right here. I am currently calling this the trash highway, because this is just where everything seems to have landed that I don't yet have a home for. But my plan for this is my bookcase, my second bookcase will go here, and next to that will be the second cabinet that I bought. I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but I wanna give it a shot. I hope it works because I don't really have a whole lot of other spaces for those to go. But in order to bring those in, I have to assemble the bookcase. I really should finish the molding around here. So I've got a couple of things that I need to do in order to be ready for those pieces to come in. The good news is that both of those are pretty narrow, so they're only about 14 inches wide, deep, which means that I'll have lots and lots of floor space to actually sit down here and work if I don't feel like sitting in a chair. Also, these floors are really smushy and it feels better on my knees. So as I said earlier, I ordered this building back in January and it showed up at the beginning of March, and I was thrilled to get started. But just like in sewing, construction requires that you go in a certain order. And that was incredibly frustrating because the first thing that I needed to get done was the electric. I called 5 electricians. Only one got back to me and then ghosted me. That was so incredibly frustrating, but luckily we had a friend who had just retired as an electrician and was willing to take on the job, and he came in and knocked it out of the park. Once we had all the electrical in, then I could actually take over and do the finishing work myself. And while it's not pretty at all, I really wanted to learn how to do the things that went into finishing up a space like this. So I took it from the studs to insulation to hanging pegboard, molding and baseboards and cutting out holes for outlets. I learned how to do drywall, sort of. And once I got all of that stuff mostly finished, then I could start moving my stuff in. And this is where it gets really exciting, to be able to actually see what my space is going to look like rather than just on a piece of paper. And I learned a lot. I learned that drywall is the devil and that actually spraying paint is horrible. I'm pretty sure my lungs are 50% paint at this point. And I wore a mask, eye protection, and a whole like space suit, but I could taste it for days, and that's disgusting. I have also discovered that I can hear every single dog in this neighborhood, and a lot of people leave their dogs outside, even when they're barking. So if you hear them in the background, thank you, neighbors. It seems like every project I get done creates 8 more projects that I need to get done. From this point on, this is where I will be doing, I think, all of my recording and all of my creating. So welcome to my new space. I am so excited to finally be able to be in my space and start doing creative things. I'm actually really excited to sew again because I miss sewing. Thank you guys for being patient with me on my month-long hiatus from this. And I can't wait to share all the cool things that I have in my head. So if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that. Give this video a like, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. I am going to try to get that insulation into all of these spaces. It is 1,000,000 degrees today, and I'm wearing long sleeves and I'm wearing long pants. This is gonna be really hard.